I was just texting an associate, and then they asked me a question: do I miss my family? And I said, what family? I never had a family. Two poor people just had sex and had a bunch of kids, which were my parents. Two poor people had sex and had 6 kids. Not far back. Then I said I was raised in poverty on welfare. That's not a family. When you live in poverty, poor, don't have money, lack of resources, the home is broken. Believe it or not, your parents are not mentally functioning well and correctly. They depressed. Your parents are sad. They argue about money, argue about this and that. There's no happiness. There's no familyness. There's no togetherness when you live in poverty. When you have kids and raise them in poverty. So I've never felt togetherness. I never felt as though I had a family. So that made me think about that question, and my response made me think about my first semester in law school. And after my first semester, I was on probation. And if I didn't get out probation, then the next semester it would have been deuces, kicked out of law school. And I went to law school in Charlotte, North Carolina. I left Detroit, Michigan. I wasn't living in Detroit, but I was living in Clinton Township at the time. So for me, knowing that I had one more chance, one more semester to bring up my grades to stay in law school, knowing that I didn't have a safety net. I didn't have family to go back home to. I didn't have anywhere to go if I was to be dismissed from law school. No safety net, no family to go back home to if I was to get dismissed. So that's what I'm thinking in my head back then when I was going through probation and knowing that, well, if I get dismissed from law school, where I'm gonna go? Back home? I just left Detroit, left moved from Clinton Township to Charlotte, North Carolina. No support, no help. It's nowhere else. It's nowhere to go back to. Once once I would, if I was to be dismissed. So I worked really hard to stay in law school. I brought my grades up that next semester. I actually brought them up pretty good. I had like B's and C's. I had like a 2 point something. It might have been a 3 point, close to a 3 point. But just somebody like me knowing that there's no safety net, there's no family to go back home to, there's no couch to lay on, there's no bedroom. I couldn't go back home. I just didn't have that type of relationship with my parents where I could go back home. And besides, my sister lives there with her kids, so my mama don't want them there. She don't want them there. She want her own house to herself with her husband. But they're there, my sister and her kids, and it's always been like that. I always been on my own, doing this alone. So that made me think about this video that I seen from 600 Breezy, the rapper in Chicago, his ex-girlfriend or girlfriend Raven K. Jackson, in a video that she made where she was explaining how it's hard on your own when you have no support, no help. It's a lot harder and it takes longer to become successful on your own when you have no help. Some people, she was saying, like, some people have help, some people do have help. I've sat in classrooms in law school with people who are currently lawyers now. Obviously, a lot of them did have help. Some people had parents that were lawyers and had law firms. I remember one girl had her mama bought a law firm or inherited something. Her mama had a law firm. She's a white girl, but even black students. I remember this one guy said when he was studying for the bar, he lived at home. He didn't have to pay any bills. It makes a difference when you don't have to work and worry about money when you're studying for the bar exam. And like Raven, in that video that she made that was on YouTube, well, somebody else made a video, but it was a video of her talking, and she was saying that if she had help, she probably would be further along. But a lot of people did look at her as successful because she had a huge following. But that doesn't mean you making money. She still had to do everything herself. But if I did have help, I probably would be a lot further along in life and in my career. But when you coming from poverty, places from like Detroit, Michigan, youngest of 6 kids. No, I'm not spoiled. No, I'm not spoiled. No. People always say, "Oh, you must have been spoiled. You youngest of 6 kids." No, my siblings ain't never put $1 in my hand. Yeah, poverty sucks. It has its effects. So people don't talk about it, like the real issues of poverty, how it can affect you as an adult, and it sucks. You don't when you grow up in poverty, especially like Detroit, you don't have a family. Poverty destroys the family because your parents are not mentally well, emotionally well, financially well. They're not happy. They're not in a good place. So it wasn't no safety net, but it's, I guess, if you know you don't have no safety net in law school, you on probation after the first semester, just put that in the back of your head. Like, I don't have nowhere else to go. Like, literally, I told myself, I have nowhere else to go. I have to stay here. I have to bring my grades up because I have nowhere else to go. And I was younger back then. That was 10 years ago. I'm in my early 20s, trying to navigate life still. I'm like, I don't have anywhere else to go. I have to stay in law school. I cannot get dismissed. I don't have no money, no job. Law school is all I got. So I brought my grades up because I knew I didn't have no safety net. I just brought my grades up that next semester, and I stayed in law school and graduated. So I sat next to people in law school the first semester orientation. Look to your left, look to your right. Somebody ain't gonna be here. A lot of people wasn't there at graduation that I started with. So no safety net when you in poverty. When you born and raised in poverty in Detroit.